All right. I would like you to just introduce yourself. I am with Mr. Dhlula here, and just introduce yourself and what you do. Then we just get into the gist of the podcast.
Into the podcast. Okay, cool. Thanks for inviting me onto this platform. I think it's truly a great pleasure because I'm actually a person who enjoys listening to podcasts. I enjoy learning new things every day. I enjoy, listening to other people, especially in the African context. Like listening to someone you can relate to. Who's
Yeah.
black like you, who's
Yeah.
from here like you.
Yeah.
So it really is a pleasure to be here on the Steke podcast. Thanks for having me, Brother Shepherd. So my name is Vuyisile Dhlula. I'm 20 and I'm a young professional working in the life insurance space. I work for one of the top 5 big life insurance companies. So I work there as an actuarial analyst. I studied Actuarial Sciences at the University of Capetown. I did an undergraduate degree at UCT. And then I went on to do my honors as well at UCT. And then I graduated in 2019. And then when I graduated, I went on to work in Joburg. I went to work at. I was there for 2 years in the pricing space, and decided to move after 2 years to Momentum to start up a new role. That's sort of my career background, and I think we can maybe touch up on more, like go deeper into it.
Yeah, definitely. You see, when you say actual sciences, since you're just 2, if not 3 years younger than me,
Yeah.
In our time, actual sciences was like almost a buzz. Not necessarily buzz, but it was scarce because of how it was portrayed. It was portrayed as something which was very difficult.
Yeah.
So, what are the misconceptions that maybe if we just start there, like what are the misconceptions that you either had or you either heard from other people,
Yeah.
which doesn't really correlate with actual sciences, which can just demystify all the.
Now I'm glad you bringing that up. That's actually a very good question, man. Because like yourself, I didn't know anything about it, back then. I think you are older than me, but we might be around the same.
Yeah, we're in the same cluster. Yeah, true.
So basically, back then, it was that thing that it was actuarial sciences, and basically the way I came to learn about it was back in high school. So in high school, I did science subjects. In my school, it was a bit it was not flexible. It was very rigid. It's either you were a science student. We had 3 options. It was either science, accounting, or tourism. And basically, I wanted to do pure maths, and the only option you could do pure maths with was science. So basically, and the subjects were very limited. You didn't have, because I know with other schools you can,
Can you
flex
just-
it up and
yeah,
stuff.
true,
But then
true.
with us, it was very rigid. You can only do, if you want to do pure maths, you also have to do science. The two go together. You can't do pure maths and you can
Yeah, you
do
can- exactly,
something else. You can't do
yeah.
pure maths with geography and then. So I ended up doing that, and the way I came to learn about actuarial sciences was through my maths teacher, and
Shout out.
yeah,
Shout out.
Mr. Shongwe is the one who actually put me on. He was like, Mr. Dhlula, you actually he used to call me Mr. Dhlula actually.
Nice.
Yeah, Mr. Dhlula, you know what? You're very good in maths. You should go on and study actuarial sciences. Like he also put it like that. Like it's a very scarce skill. Like they are very. It's a very sought out skill. Like they told us there's a lot of money back then. Like you'd hear all those great things like, yo, it's a nice skill, it's money, what,
Sure,
you
sure.
know, it's challenging, it's very difficult, you know. That's what I was told in high school, and
Sure.
then I decided, you know what, actually, I wanna give it a try because I've
Yeah.
always been someone who's been very competitive, and I guess I wanted to give myself a challenge, and then I decided, no, let me actually do this, you know. So I applied. I think I applied at Wits and at UCT, but I had made up my mind that I wanted to go to
You
Cape
said.
Town. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I've always wanted to come to Cape Town, and I applied. But funny enough, I applied for two things. I applied for actuarial sciences, and I also applied for electrical engineering.
From
So
affiliate. Yeah.
so it was one of the two, and but actuarial sciences was the first option. I
First option,
think
yeah.
electrical engineering was also a passion, you know, like I think that was more my interest, but then the actuarial sciences was more, you know, my maths teacher launching me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I got launched, you know, because when I got accepted, you know, it was also a matter of, you know, they tell you that it's very difficult to get into it and all of those things. So
Yeah.
once you get that acceptance, you know, I felt like, you know, what this
Yeah.
is this
I'm
is
I'm the man.
I'm the man. I can do
Yeah,
this. Let me
definitely. Yeah.
let me go and do it.
Exactly, yeah.
And I felt great, man. And
Yeah.
I took up the challenge. I was like, okay, let me.
And
But
and
honestly
and
speaking,
so sorry for that.
yeah,
And I mean, actual sciences, I think it's offered in very less, not a lot of universities, if I'm not right. If I'm right.
yeah. So you can study actuarial sciences at any university.
Is it?
The
Okay.
only thing is that it's their credits because you have to be accredited by the Actuarial Society of South Africa. So basically, some universities don't have that accreditation. So that's the challenge. But you can go and do the basic, you know, courses because actuarial sciences basically is just a combination of mathematics, stats, and a bit of finance background. So
Finance, yeah, yeah.
that's those are the basics that you need. So basically, you can get those at any university. You can go and study at UFS. You know, you can study at Potchefstroom. I know guys who.
So which means it's actually almost in every
Yes,
university.
yes.
Okay, that's good then.
It is available. If you basically if you want to go the actuarial route, if you're studying anything in the maths and statistics background, you can do it because at the end of the day, if you want to qualify as an actuary, what you need is you need to write a certain number of board exams with the actuarial society. So basically, there's boards, right?
So are you doing that after finishing your honors or your degree, or you do it before?
So basically, if you the university that you're studying
Because the thing
in,
is, I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves, right?
yeah, yeah,
Because I think you're still explaining that around actual. So
yeah.
you're just saying that the uh, when you're in high school, you were just launched by your school
By the
teacher,
teacher, yeah.
right? So what was like the buzz thing where everyone was like, okay, this is what actual science is about,
Yeah.
and when you get in there, you're like, okay, this
Yeah.
is not.
Actually, you're right. Thanks for bringing us back
No worries, man.
into back on track. But
Sure.
yeah, I think we'll get to the other nitty gritties
Oh yeah,
of
sure.
the route to qualification. But yeah, I think what I was saying is that like most people, I also didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I think it's a very not so like it's not so well known or well explained amongst the black community as well. So basically, it's a very white career.
Dominant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's dominated by white people mostly. So that space, like it's very white dominated, and basically, as blacks, like I feel like there's not a lot of us, and basically, we don't know much about it. You know, like so I didn't know much, honestly speaking. It was just my maths teacher. Even him, like I don't think he knew actually what he was getting me
Sure.
into, but he
Yeah.
just suggested it because like, yeah, no, you're good in maths. Just go and do that. But so let me take you now through my varsity, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
we can explain all the other stuff we're about to get into. So in first year, right, I went to the University of Capetown. So Actuarial Sciences is part of the Commerce faculty,
Okay.
and it's actually a Bachelor of Business Science degree. You can do it as a BCom or a Bachelor of Business Science degree, and basically Bachelor of Business Science at UCT. It's very broad. Like there's specialties under the Bachelor of Business Science field. And basically, in the first year, we all do the same thing, most of us. So, people studying analytics, people studying finance, people studying computer science, people studying accounting. We can all be doing it through the Bachelor of Business Science. And most of our courses are going to be similar. And we do study all those things. So, I studied accounting, and I studied computer science, and I studied finance. I did maths, I did stats, so it was a lot of courses. And for me, it was a bit of a shocker because I came from a science background. I
I
only had
see.
science,
So you didn't have any background in terms of like basics,
commerce
commerce
subjects.
subject, yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh
I
shucks.
didn't. So it was a bit of
So
a,
like starting from
a shake.
scratch for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for anyone wanting to pursue the career or wanting to study it in varsity, I would recommend for them, because you see, this is where we now, as people say, you know what, guys, this is the info, because I've traveled the road, and these are the challenges I came across.
Yeah,
So for
definitely. Yeah.
someone thinking about it, I can advise them because I've went that route and say, guys, you know
Exactly.
what, I would recommend that if you want to get into it, do accounting in high school if you can, do pure maths in high school if you can, and
Was physical science any
mm,
of benefit to you?
physical sciences. No, I wouldn't say it was a benefit actually,
Because
because
like you're saying, there's this
no,
business.
yeah, it's very commerce.
Yeah.
So business, physical sciences. I mean, no, I didn't use it at all.
So which means it would have made sense for you to do in terms of streams, like you were saying that you only had like 3 streams, so
Yeah,
it would have made sense for you to do mathematics,
and
accounting.
accounting. Yeah,
Then
and
it makes sense for you to do like actual
well, I did
sciences.
CAT as well. So CAT came in handy as
Oh,
well
I see. Yeah,
because
yeah.
there was the computer science
CAT
part,
is computer, something to do with
computer
computer.
applications.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I remember.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I think I would add that, and I would add like maybe something along the lines of, I don't know, geography or something, because that actually goes well with because physics would just be, but unless you really love physical sciences,
Yeah.
then but it
If you were to
no.
go the actual science route,
But actually,
that's
no,
not.
physics is good because there's a lot of formulas, there's a lot of calculations as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So it helps you with building the problem solving, capability. But then
Yes.
there's a lot of formulas because it's very technical, the subject, right? So
Okay.
it's a very technical. You do a lot of calculations, and you're working with a lot of numbers, literally. So if you want to improve your calculations and your problem solving skills, then I would add physics because there's a lot of
It's
calculations
very
there.
calculated, yeah.
Chemistry as well. I think you solving some balancing
Balance,
equations.
balance equations, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was quite interesting. But yeah, I did those common subjects, and basically the most important thing in first year, you do all the subjects just so you can equip yourself with the Bachelor of Business Science. But then the core actuarial subjects, it's statistics, it's mathematics, and then finance as well.
Finance, yeah.
So that's what I went on to do in my third year, and I had a bit of that in my honors year as well, when I graduated. So basically, earlier on, I was explaining that anyone can go and do any of those three. Maths, you can be a straight maths major, a straight finance major. You can be a straight statistics major, and then basically you can after that, after varsity, if you're studying in a university which is not accredited by the Actuarial Society, you can register with the Actuarial Society on your own, even while you're still studying. Because I
Do
know
you pay for it?
yes,
Okay.
you pay for it.
Do you know how much is it? Or
Yeah, you see, that's where we would have needed that fact checker. Eh?
yeah, sure.
We would have needed that fact checkers. But
But I mean, in terms of estimates, is it over? Like, is between 1,000, 5,000, or
yes,
it's over?
definitely, it's definitely over that. So basically, the actual
Definitely over 5,000.
is definitely over. So basically, let me explain it how it
Okay.
works. So basically, the Actuarial Society, you are a member of the Actuarial Society, and you write exams to get qualifications and get designations. So basically, I myself, I'm not an actuary yet. So yeah, please don't write actuary there somewhere and say this guy is an actuary, because I'm not an actuary. I can't be called an actuary yet. I'm an actuarial student because I'm still studying towards becoming an actuary, a fully qualified actuary.
I think what you're saying, it reminds me of one of the lawyers who once came here.
Yeah.
Says doing pupillage, something about pupillage something. So in order to become, I don't know if you, in order for him to become an advocate, he has to go through pupillage and the board exams, like you say.
Certain articles, they
Yes,
do
yes,
articles and
exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
So it's the same thing with you guys, where you have to
Yes.
kind of like build up to become to
Yes.
be called in actual science.
True. Yeah.
So now you have to have like a lot of experience and stuff.
It comes with experience, yeah. So it's basically a set of skills that you get through writing the exams. So some of the exams actually include a component of work-based learning. You need to learn on the job. You need to learn certain skills for you to become a qualified actuary, and then you get the FASA designation, which is the I think fully qualified actuary. And it's a set of exams. It's about, I think, 13 exams that you need to write. So basically, actually 15. Let me not say 13. It's about 15. But basically, how it works is you can literally register. If you're in a university which is not accredited, you can register with ASA. And then once you're registered as a member of ASA, you need to pay a subscription fee because you're a member. You don't register once and then you become,
You stop,
there's a subscription. It's like Netflix. You pay every month. But then the way it works, it's actually not every month. It's once a year. So
Once
there's
a
an
year.
annual subscription fee, and it also depends on which level you are in. If you're still a student, I think it's around 4.5 a month. That's around how much I paid, 4.5. So it's
month.
quite steep. Yeah. So as a student, you can't have. Oh no,
And then
a year. A year.
I was
Sorry.
like a month. I was like, who's
Sorry,
paying?
yeah.
Who's paying for that? Is it you or the company?
Yeah, no, it's 4.5 a year.
which
So
makes sense,
as a student, it's quite difficult, and I mean, like it's up to you whether you really want it, and if you're doing it yourself, you have to pay that much, which is a lot of money. But if you go to accredited universities, there's certain exams within this 15, right, that you have to write. In certain universities, you can write a number of them while you're still studying at
Oh, I
university.
see, yeah.
And if it's an institution that's recognized by ASA, they will give you an exemption. We call them exemptions. When you pass this certain exam, they give you an exemption for that exam. So at UCT, you can get 10 of those exemptions if you finish honors there at UCT.
Sure.
At VETS, I think you can get 12 of those. So VETS is Stellenbosch, I think you can get 9 of those. yeah, some of my numbers maybe might be, but then I think UCT and VETS I'm
And
quite
vets
sure
they
about.
have more, yeah.
Yeah, so actually VETS has the most. So for someone as well who's listening and wants to go into it, and now thinking, okay, where's the best place to study? Because me, I'm
Yeah.
giving you the best tips. If you want to study, do it. The best subjects to study is commerce subjects.
So okay, so I think I like that. I just want to understand in terms of I don't know your background in terms of your high school background, right?
Yeah.
And I'll also delve into your university experience, right?
Yeah.
So do you have to be bright? Because it seems as if everyone is saying that
Yeah.
actual sciences, like some of the myths, is
Yeah.
that it's very difficult, it's
Yeah.
challenging. Then are you supposed to be a bright student to do actual science, or what's your experience even when you go to university? Was it like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, seems like, yeah,
That's a very good question,
yeah,
brother Shepherd.
sure,
So let me explain that
yeah,
something about that. Like, no, the answer is no. You don't
okay,
need to be the smartest person in the room
okay,
to do it.
yeah,
You just need to be hardworking. But it's very difficult if you don't have credentials backing you. Basically, there's a barrier to entry. That's why I'm saying it's not it's not a space for us blacks, honestly speaking. Like, there's a lot of barriers to entry because
we might as well talk about them because it seems like
yeah,
you mentioned this not more than twice. So I must listen to you. Maybe you can just talk about some
yeah,
of the barriers, or maybe challenges that maybe you have faced, whether it be at work, to say
yeah,
that okay, seems like maybe when you're working with the only black guy in your company and stuff.
yeah.
But I think to make it easier, you don't have to say the names because they might throw lawsuits. Not only
Can they do that?
I'm not too sure in terms of the law, because
Yeah, let's hope not. Let's hope not.
they
But
throw defamation
yeah, I
clause, yeah.
think it's a topic that it's like, as actuaries or as people in the space, they know that there's not a lot of black actuaries, and I think the question has been raised so many times, like, why is it so white? Why are they? I think the percentage, if I'm not mistaken, there's only 5% black.
Black.
Yeah, and by black I mean
Mtomnya.
Mtomnyama, Bantu black, Indians, coloreds.
Are you serious?
I'm
As well?
serious. Yeah, yeah.
So even like including coloreds and Indians.
Yes, we
So
have
it's only
5%.
5%.
Yes,
And the rest is just white people.
white. Yeah. So
That's very
basically,
weird.
the thing is, the first one is the one that you're asking about. Do you have to be very intelligent? The requirements at UCT to get into actuarial science, you need 7 A's. You need I think is, I'm not, like, I've lost
I
the,
don't remember.
it was a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah.
But you need a certain, I think it was APS scores, that's what they used to call them, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Which was very high, like, and you needed very good results.
Yeah.
So basically, that was the first barrier, like, not anyone can get into it.
Yeah.
But once you're in there, I think once you're in varsity, I've been in class with people who were literally, I watched them on TV the previous year in the award ceremony, the metric award ceremony.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
So the top student, I think, in the whole of South Africa, I was in class with him. He was sitting next
Just
to me.
next to you, yeah.
Like, I was in class with a lot of very intelligent
Bright,
people.
yeah, true.
All of us were very smart. We excelled in our own rights,
Including you
coming
as well.
from where we were coming from.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm putting myself there as well. So
Sure.
we were all very bright.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel like what's important is the amount of work that you put in, because I've been, like, some of my friends as well, close friends, like, I know definitely they came from very old in high school, but then when it got to varsity, they started changing degrees because it was not about rate as well. I think maybe that's why the requirement is very high,
Oh, I see.
because there is also a very high unsuccessful rate. So basically, it's very difficult to study right through the end, because
So even though, so with the dropouts, is it happening in first year or only after you have
Yeah.
now selected
Yeah.
the courses?
Yeah, so at UCT specifically, so yeah, there's certain requirements that you must get to proceed to second year, and the requirements was 60% for mathematics, and it was 60% for statistics, and I think it was 60. That was the pass mark, 60% for most of the subjects. If you didn't get 60, you wouldn't qualify to do second year, to go into the second year, the introduction into Actuarial Sciences course. But at VETS, I think it's a bit different. At VETS, you actually do that introduction course. You financial mathematics, you do it in first year. So in VETS, they don't have that. But at UCT, basically, they were literally chopping people up.
Also, it's kind of like sifting through.
Yes.
Yes.
So basically, that's what they were doing, man. That's what they
Okay.
were doing. You had to now in first year, you had to get that 60% on top of getting the 7 A's in matric. You had to come and now get 60%.
Perform. And in terms of the demand, how was the demand?
It was very tough, man. Like I feel like I didn't have a life while I was a student. Honestly speaking, I feel like my only life. So basically now, that's where the question comes in. Do you have to be the smartest person? I don't think I was the smartest person. I think I worked extra hard because I knew, no, you know what? I'm not a matriculant from whole school somewhere. So basically, I have to put in the extra. I didn't have AP math, so I have to put in extra work.
Okay.
And basically, I think it's what matters most is how much you want something, because I feel like anyone who wants it and anyone who's willing to work hard enough for it, they can do it, So
Yeah, it
if you put your mind to it and say, I'm going to study this, I'm going to get this degree, I promise you, you can get it,
Yeah.
And same is even in high school. If you tell yourself, I need 7 A's to get into Actuarial Sciences, you can get 7 A's to get into Actuarial. You just need to, put your mind into it and then as well work hard, put in the effort. And I think, it's just a lot of hard work. You need to put in the hours because at the end of the day, some of those concepts, they start making more sense. Someone who practices 300 hours and someone who only practiced
Yes, 80-20. Yeah. No,
80,
80-20, yeah.
you see,
Something else, yeah.
we're not gonna be the same.
Outliers, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like you were asking me before the podcast, like you were telling me actually that like this has become sort of natural to you. This is my first one, so
Yeah.
so this is probably how many minutes? I only have 27 minutes of podcasting.
No, I mean, yeah, you're right in that sense. Maybe in terms of bringing back, because with you said something like you had to work very hard, and it seems like you're saying that you put a lot of hours. If you were to describe your years, because I don't want to put it in days, because
Yeah.
I mean probably daily, but in terms of years, when you look back, were you like very social? How was like how are you scheduling yourself, and then how were you managing? Do you have like peers who you were studying with, and then how were you going about that?
Yeah.
Because as you said, that
Yeah.
it looks like it was very demanding.
Yeah, it
So
was.
how
It
did
was. It
you
was.
get to the point
So
here?
I think another thing. I think in the journey, sometimes God works in mysterious ways.
Sure.
Like you, sometimes you don't even. But it literally things happen in a certain way that make things work out for you because I was from Joburg and at UCT, when you're from outside the city, you get res, you get allocated res based on where you're from, and I think also based on what you're studying and also based on how early you applied. So I applied early. I was from outside Joburg. I got one of the best reses. It was
What's the name of the
literally
res?
Smarts Hall. That's what it's called.
Smarts Hall.
Yeah,
Okay.
Smarts Hall. So I was
Okay.
staying in Smarts Hall, and it's literally on campus. So it's a very nice res. But
And it's convenient, right?
very convenient
Okay.
because I used to wake up at at 7:30 for an 8 a.m. lecture.
Oh, I
Because
see.
it's
Yeah,
literally right there.
yeah,
And I
true,
would
true.
run to grab breakfast and I'll just
And
get on
then
campus. Yeah.
places for studying as well. It's just
Everything
everything
is
is
there.
just
I
there.
would walk up to the library at 3 in the morning without a hassle because I'm literally on
On
campus, so it's
campus,
very
yeah.
safe and stuff. So the I think the environment as well, like you must always be in an environment which is conducive for you to study and for you to work, so that raise, like I feel like the people who were around me were very like-minded as well, like. And also I didn't get distractions or like having a lot of friends, because in the other races, like the other races at UCTU, there's that strong brotherly culture, and it's
Okay.
banter and it's nice, and they are more. I feel like if I would have been in another race, like I would have ended up being a person of friends mostly.
Okay.
But the fact that I was in that race, like I couldn't connect with them because I came from a background where literally
Amaji, Danji.
yeah, like we were all
Oh,
black in school,
sure, sure,
and then
sure.
now in Figeva City, like, and then we're all white.
Oh, so
And
it
then
was like that. Okay, I get
so
you. I get you.
I sort of felt out of place,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
after that, that sort of helped me to just focus on myself. I think other people, once they get into spaces like that, it affects them, because I know a lot of people, they say they don't like they talk about the culture if the culture is not suitable to them. But I think for me as a person, I've learned to be comfortable in myself, and just. So basically, I kept to myself. So basically, the only thing that was my friend was the books, honestly speaking. So
Sure,
I
sure.
studied a lot, and that was in first year. Basically, it became my
Yeah.
brand. I became a nerd, and I
Yeah,
enjoyed
yeah.
school,
Sure.
and I pushed. So that's what got me through varsity. Yeah,
So, bringing it back to being bright, right?
yeah,
You said that it's not necessarily about being bright, but it's about work.
yeah,
Like, how much work do you put in?
yeah.
Were there other students who were putting like similar work, or was it just because you told yourself that you're gonna make it? That's why you had to put that work, or do you have like other peers who you were doing the same thing in the same class?
Yeah, yeah. I think other people, actually, honestly speaking, it was because you remember I said it also depends on how much you want it. Like I feel like with other people, like maybe they were not as hungry for it as I was.
Yeah.
So basically, it wouldn't have worked for them if they didn't want it as much. But with me, I know 100% that. But I know 100% they are smarter than me. But the work now, the putting in the hours, because it's painful. I think
Yeah, true.
you can attest to it, having had been a student as well.
True.
Sitting long hours and studying something, especially if it's something that's difficult and you're not cracking it, and you have to look at it, and then you just like you become frustrated,
Yeah,
and you just
yeah.
like, let me leave it, or you procrastinate. I'll see it.
Yeah.
But then, if you're disciplined enough, you're just gonna sit with that problem until you crack it and you figure it out, and then So it has to be a disciplined thing as well. So maybe other gents, like they struggled with that, because as I'm telling you, there was a lot of things available.
Yeah, yeah.
Varsity,
I
how
mean,
it is.
varsity, yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah, varsity is like,
it's a lot of
it's very
distractions.
late.
Yeah,
So
you do want to enjoy.
yes, exactly. So you get to try to enjoy. So you're saying that basically it was more about what you told yourself.
Yeah,
So I like that because this might also help someone who's going to try to do actual science or wants to do actual science, right?
yeah,
I don't know how personal this question is gonna be. If you want to answer it, it's also fine.
yeah.
But what is it that was your engine or keep on pushing? Because I know you told us you told me that it was a teacher who actually
Yeah,
plugged you in.
yeah.
But what was your reason now? Because as much as you hear
Yeah.
the plug from the teacher, but what was the reason why you were pushing so hard?
For me, I guess I sort of thrived in that environment, which was very difficult, and which was very competitive, because, like, I don't know, I like a challenge. I guess I'm that person. if I'm like, hey, X solve, solve.
Sure, sure.
So
Yeah.
basically, I think that's what made me push myself a lot. Like I was just even some of my peers would tell me that nah, bro, you are working way too hard. You are, but sometimes it's not healthy to overdo it because we 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 actually saw a lot of people burning out and. It was quite bad. Varsity, the burning out.
Was it a normal thing? Like
At
seeing people.
UCT, it sort of became normal because we had a lot of students committing suicide. So, which is a very heavy thing, But then to us, it became sort of like, like you'd get emails basically. The heading would be in remembrance, death of a don't. It would say death of a student, and most of them were under mysterious circumstances found dead in their room, and basically it was because of how bad it was, man. Like
So it was like intense, yeah.
yeah, it was quite intense. I feel like to a certain level it gets very toxic, and then you are not taking care of yourself, you're not healthy because you are literally pushing yourself too much to the breaking point. Like I feel like students are suffering from a lot of mental illnesses, students are going through a lot, like, and sometimes they don't even understand, because I think there's also a lot of pressure, well, I'll speak for myself. For in our communities, there's a lot of pressure from home as well to get a degree. Like everyone is looking, especially if you're a first generation, to get a degree as well. Like everyone is gonna look at you like, hey, we are hoping you bring it home and you take care of us and all of those things. Like your parents are
They're
hoping that
looking at up to you, yeah.
they're looking, they're saying, yo, my son is gonna graduate and become an actuary or whatever.
Big shot.
You see, so basically,
Yeah.
you have to push yourself, but it gets to a point whereby sometimes it's not good. So I think for me, I was very blessed to have made it out, but I saw a lot of those, like a lot of people breaking down, a lot of people committing suicide and all of those things because of how bad it was. But I think another thing was, for me, I think I wanted to set an example as well, to be a leader in the space, to be like, to be in the forefront, because at the end of the day, we are told that, there's no blacks there, and I wanted to be there. I wanted to,
Break grounds, yeah.
yeah, break the what's the
Records.
exactly, like
Yeah.
to yeah, literally exceed the expectation,
Sure.
just show that, what, guys, you don't have to be the smartest. You just need to, if you dedicate yourself and you push hard enough, you can do it. So I think that's what kept me going, the fact that I knew that basically we also breaking boundaries. We want to come into the space and we want to make it accessible and all of that. And because the thing is, you can't make changes or change the game from outside. You need to be in the
You
game.
should be
You
inside,
need to
yeah.
be a player
Inside man,
inside.
yeah.
Exactly. You need
True.
to be a player inside. So I think, yeah, I definitely wanted to. I wanted in, and that's why I pushed myself that much. Yeah.
Oh, what did it mean now that you got your the degree? How was that feeling when you got your degree?
Sure, it was amazing, man. I
Yeah.
think I graduated 2019, and the following year was lockdown. A lot of people after that there were no official graduation.
Oh yeah.
So literally that last graduation before. So I think I was blessed enough to walk the stage and everything. Hey, it was a lot of tears, man. It was
Yeah.
very emotional. Um, I was fortunate enough to graduate with two of my very close friends who we started with in first year.
Doing actual as well.
Yes,
Okay.
we were in the same class,
So you were kind of
and
like pushing together, yeah.
yes, yes.
Sure, sure.
So it was a very emotional moment, and to have my parents as well. Like
Yeah.
but it was great. It was a great feeling, and I think by then as well, I had already secured a job, so it was it was very nice. Like it was
And
a good
then
feeling.
yeah. So and then in terms of the people that you passed with, I just heard you mention that. You said that there was like the system kind of like chops people down.
Yeah.
Like as time goes on in different years, do you have like a very few group where you like less
Yes.
than 10 or
So I
how
think
many were you who
I
graduated?
think by second year it was half of the class. I think we started off 200. So in the second year, actually I'm not too sure of the numbers, but then yeah, sort of halved in the second year, and then the third year it gets worse because in the second year as well there's requirements,
Sure.
there's pass marks that you must get. So
Yeah.
that also chowdered. And then in third year as well. But now the thing is, it was becoming very, like you could literally just look around and spot the other blacks in your class. And so basically, we became very close. Like every black person in my class, I knew them by name and surname because we were like, we were
You were
very,
like soldiers. You were like
yeah, we were like,
soldiers
hey, we in this
going
together.
to war.
So basically,
Yeah.
after that, like we became very close, like we sharing material, all of those things, pushing each other, studying together. So
Sure.
yeah, like, but the two gents, because one of them actually were in res together, so that's why he was much more closer to me, and the other one, gay, he was my brother. Like he was we were very close, and we made it through together. And but I lost quite a few along the way as well, but not that you lose them and then it's all done, but we kept in touch. They went their different routes, but then they still did great. They still went on. It wasn't the end of the road. They went on to do other careers. Like one of my closest friends, when he changed courses in second year, he went on to do accounting. So basically, the business science degree. Remember, I told you, like, all of us, we do the same
Yes,
things
yes,
in
yes. You
first.
did something.
So
Yeah.
it becomes very flexible, like to
Change.
change to
Yes,
something
yes,
else.
yes, yes.
So it's very nice like that at UCT. And then he went on to, and he literally just finished doing his articles, and he's a
Nice.
qualified chartered accountant.
That's
So
good.
he's
Congrats, yeah.
doing great. He's doing
Yeah.
great. And like back then, I remember he was in a very dark space as well when he had to change.
Say that again. He was.
Yeah, he was in
Okay,
a
sure,
very
sure,
dark
sure.
space when he had
Sure,
to
sure.
change and all of that. Like he
Yeah.
felt as though it was, but like motivated him, like told him, hey bro, you can still, and then he
And you
kept
find
it
your feet,
moving, and then he made it through. And I think for him, like, he was one of the people who he didn't enjoy it. So you get some people who don't enjoy it at all because it's very technical. It's very, sometimes you calculate to extra solve, sometimes,
Yeah.
but in accounting he thrived. He enjoyed the
Balancing.
exactly,
Yeah, sure.
because there's a lot of reading as well. They have big books, and it's legislature's rules and what so he sort of thrived in that environment. So basically, sometimes something might not be for you because something else is for you,
Yeah.
and you enjoy something else more than this. So basically, we all gifted differently. And
I mean, you're right, because there is that huge gap between varsity and high schools and varsities,
Yeah.
and varsities and work.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the same with you guys, that when you go to work, right, was there a big shift in terms of what you were studying in school was applicable, but it's like you had to start over from work? Was it the same thing with you?
No. So with the type of work that we do, because remember, we still need to write towards qualifying, right? And the companies normally, if you're working in an actuarial role, your company would normally also pay for your studying, and they would give you study leave so that you can study towards becoming qualified. So basically, there's studying being a student, it's actually, that's what you call an actuarial student. Even when you're working, you're still a student. So basically, it's encouraged by the companies because they pay for it, and so basically the fact that you are encouraged to keep on studying, to keep on learning, the things that you are learning, you are applying them on a daily basis. You apply what you go on to study, and if there's a skill that they feel as though you are needing, you have to go back and study it. So basically, you study a skill and then you come and apply it. So it's a very application type of
So
environment.
I want to understand the setup, right? Are you saying that when you're studying, you're also working at the same time?
Yes.
So when do you do that? Do you do that from first year or you do it from which year?
So first year of work.
I mean, first year of studying. Like when you're a student, are you also working?
No.
So
So
you're
you study and then you graduate and then you start working as an
it's an
actuarial
actual
student.
student, right?
Yes.
So what I was asking is the shift between varsity work when you go to your degree.
It's continuous, like it's connected.
So it is connected.
Yeah.
So which means when you're done there, you just when you move into work,
Yeah.
it just makes sense. When you
Yeah.
get there, you
So
don't
you
have to
remember I
learn
told you
anything.
there's 10 exams and you can get like there's 15, you can get like 10 of them at varsity. And then once you start working, you start writing number 11, number 12, and then you continue there. So basically, if you already have those skills, you're now using them at work, but then you still need to study towards getting these other
The
skills. So
other
it's a
ones, okay.
continuation. So
Sure.
basically, you're using the skills that you have in the field that you're working in. Yeah. So, yeah, it's you use the material from varsity in the line that you're working in. Yeah.
That's actually very good because with us or most people that I've talked to, the engineering world, it's like you get the basics, which is from in high school it's like basics, like super basics,
Yeah.
and then when you get to varsity it's like basics as well.
Yeah.
But when you're in varsity, you kind of like have an idea of how it's going to be like. Then of course, then you start doing your in-service training, which allows you to choose which path you want to start, and then the transition between the in-service training and the school, it's huge because depending on what where you get your job,
Yeah. Yeah.
you'll have to learn things like the systems of that job from scratch.
Ah,
So
okay.
it becomes a bit difficult. But I think in your case, then it makes sense because at least if you're studying it from school, then it makes it easier for you to kind of like
To just continue.
make the
Yeah.
transition. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I kept on asking because and I felt like that was like the norm. But
Yeah.
it seems like other people or other institutions they're actually
Yeah.
getting it right, which is very good.
Yes, yes. So the skills that you learn in varsity, they are very vital to the work that you do. So basically, that's why we have the board as well, the association as well, because the association encourages those skills. They encourage continued professional development. So basically, even once you qualified, you have to keep on upgrading, learning something new because the world is changing. Like we just had COVID right now. Actuaries who qualified a long time ago, they still need to upgrade whatever knowledge they have to now, cater for all the situations or all the events arising now with COVID and everything. So yeah, I think it's a space where you learn something new every time and you literally using all those skills in the work that you're doing. Yeah.
Okay. So you have more experience in the insurance world, right?
Yes.
So what are the different paths that when you're an actual science student um, offer? What are the different paths? So you can just tell me the different.
Okay, so core actuarial, but I mean, actuaries are needed in any way because what actuaries do actually, they are risk managers and everything involves risk. I think most companies, startups, and everything, they do need someone to assess their risk because we basically are risk assessors and we literally work in mitigating the risk, like how can we lower the risk of unforeseen events happening and all of that. So, but core actuarial would be like life insurance, where you buy life insurance products like death cover, funeral cover, disability cover,
It
all those things.
sounds so weird when you call them products.
Yeah,
These guys, they see us as a product. When you go to them,
No,
they tell me.
the product is the policy I'm selling to you.
I understand. No, I really understand. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, for me, it just sounds very funny.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you say the products.
Yeah.
So it's like when we come
The
to
death
them,
of someone is-
Yeah, it's like it's a product. Yeah, that's a funny. Yeah. But you can just continue.
Yeah, so actually, yeah, another thing with our space, you have to be very, like, you don't have to see death as you have to, like, you become used to, because we speak about death a lot. We calculate the probability of someone dying,
Yeah,
tomorrow.
sure.
So basically, death to us, we see it as an
You guys are
event.
gods.
Nah, not really, not
You're
really.
numbering our days.
Yeah, so basically death shouldn't be something that is a taboo topic to actuaries, because we speak about death quite. It's the mortality rate. So we speak about that quite often. So that's the life insurance product, life insurance space. And then we can also work in sorry about that.
Sure.
We can also work for banks, right? Because banks are hiring a lot of quants. So I know with guys who have the actuarial science degree, they can also work in that space, because
Quads? Did you say quads?
quants, yeah,
What's that?
quantitative analysts. So
Okay.
basically, hey, yeah, you need to get a quant actually, because the quant, when they come through, they'll tell you about that space. It's quite interesting as well.
Sure.
But it's more investments, like, so basically they work with
see.
financing products like derivatives, and basically that risk of investments, like market risk, like right now, if there were to be a market crash, what's happening with our monies that we've saved up, whatever, So yeah, maybe get a
That
quant
would be
next.
nice. Yeah. I mean, like, if you have a plug, you can just plug me.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
just,
I know a few quants, actually, some guys who were working as actuaries, who I studied with actuarial science, and then they went on to do quantitative.
analysts.
So they're quantitative analysts, and they work for banks most of the time. So FNP and those guys. And then you get general insurance, which is the car insurance, household items insurance, and then but there's a lot of things, man, that are being insured these days. Like, people are literally insuring everything.
Yeah,
now.
insuring. I remember when you're talking about this, you said people are insuring their arms. And
Yes, you can
the
insure your
eyes and
arm, your eyes, exactly.
Yeah.
But then the trick with that is that you have to put a value to it. Like, how much is your arm worth right now? If I were to ask you, how much income do you get a year from this arm?
Also, that's how you calculate it.
Basically, that's how they would quantify how much this arm is worth. And then basically, if you were to insure your arm, basically you need to know how much money you'd lose if you were to lose your arm. So, like, basically, some singers are also insuring their voices, because to them that's a very valuable asset. Like, sometimes when you think of assets, you just think house. Let me insure my house. Let me insure my car. But there's a lot of other things, like, that can be insured. So it's a growing space, and there's literally, it's unending. I can't name everything at this point. There's also pension funds. Pension funds are actually very big in the UK, like, because they have a very
Elderly group
population.
Sure.
So that's quite big, that side. Like, they literally always looking for actuaries to go into, the pension funds and stuff. And South African actuaries are actually number 2 in the world after UK. So
in terms of
ranking, like,
ranking. Kudos.
so basically, UK, they're the top, they're the best, and then the South African ones. So the Actuarial Society of South Africa is quite in the world we are recognized,
Oh,
and
that's nice.
if you were to qualify with the South African board, like no, you are,
You're the big guy.
like you know your thing. So we train them quite well. By we, I mean South Africa trains
Yeah,
them
yeah, yeah.
quite well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, I'm sure you're getting there as well.
yes,
Yeah, sure.
definitely. That's the goal.
Okay, I kind of like have an idea. So coming back to the different streams, right? You're saying that there's the insurance side, the quants, and then the insurance in terms of insuring different stuff. So this is all part of the jobs that you can get as an actual science.
Yeah.
So is that the whole scope, or is there's more?
You can get anything, my brother. Like literally, there's a lot of people hiring actuaries these days. Like startups are hiring actuaries. Even like tech companies these days, they hire actuaries. So basically, if you see that there's a risk here, you can hire an actuary, because actuaries actually we deal with the
So-
time value of money as well.
There?
The time value of money. So basically, we can evaluate how much money, like
Is it
we
like
can,
things like inflation or something?
yes,
Okay.
like literally finding the present values and stuff. So basically, another example of where actuaries might be needed, which is not conventional, like a bank or life insurance, is literally the road accident fund. Those
Oh,
guys,
I
they,
see. Yeah, because there's a lot of money that's going out there.
yeah. So basically, you need an actuary to quantify, how much this person,
So you
like
kind of
that.
like have to work with that's why you do stats. So you have to work with the stats that you have been given
Yes.
in order to come up with the facts in a
Yes,
sense. Yeah. To
yes.
say, okay,
So when you're going to
this is how
claim there
much.
and
Yeah.
say you need to quantify the amounts that you're claiming for, because
Sure.
that's how people literally go and claim. I don't know. They come on iPloid and I got 3 million. Like there was an actuary behind that who calculated actually the forecasted loss of income that this person or this accident caused, this injury caused.
Oh, I get it now.
You need
Yeah.
to quantify those things, and then at the end of the day, you come to an amount. So, yeah.
Then what's the difference between? I don't want to. I just want to understand the question that I'm about to ask.
Yeah.
And what is the difference between an actual science and someone who's doing? I don't want to call it marketing,
Yeah.
because it's like when you're doing marketing, you have to have data
Yeah.
in order to sell a best product.
Yeah.
Because you guys are like you're also consolidating the money
Yeah.
in terms of to make profits for companies, right?
Yeah.
So, would you say that your work and someone who's doing marketing is kind of similar?
No, I wouldn't say so.
I know marketing
Yeah.
is it's a bit different, but
Yeah.
for me it sounded like as if because when someone is doing marketing, it's like I'm coming to market,
Yeah.
to advertise your product in a sense.
Yeah.
But I need to have all those stats as well. Or
Yeah.
are they getting the stats from you guys?
So the stats, basically we are calculating them. I think.
So you do the pre-calculations.
Yeah,
in a sense.
we are the ones
Okay,
who
I
work
get-
in the background.
Sure, sure.
I really never approach a client or anything. So basically, we're in the background calculating everything. That's what the actuaries do. They're in the background calculating everything, and then the ones who would do the marketing are the ones who go out there and meet the clients. So yeah.
Oh, I think I understand, but I think the way that I was visualizing it or seeing
Yeah.
it was something. It was DMK. It was all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I understand what you mean. It seems like you guys are kind of like you were saying that even in startups.
Yeah.
So you kind of like have to crunch down the numbers that okay,
Yes.
how much will you be making in the next
Exactly.
5 years? And then-
Projections, yeah.
projections, yes, and then you just work it out and see. And it seems like it's a very detailed
Yeah.
thing as well.
Yes, sir. So if we can also work in project management actually. So basically, if you want to start right now and say, hey, like we want to build a school Like we need to look at, the what's the opposite of mortality?
Uh, Mortality, immortality.
The birth rates,
Oh,
like
birth rate. Oh, yeah, sure, sure.
yeah, you have to look at the birth rate, because mortality is people dying. But then
Sure.
if you want to go and build a school, if we say, okay, let's go and build a school in Peru, like we need to project, actually, is the school going to be, are we going to make money off of this? Because it's a risk. Like we can't just build a school and then we're not, are they going to, how many kids are going to be born in this area, all those things,
Oh, I
so
see. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like we work with literally quantifying risk and then trying to find means to reduce it. And basically we work with risk pooling. In life insurance, it's risk pooling, so that we take money from you and we take money from someone else, so that if that other person dies, we use your money to pay that other person. Basically, that's what life insurance companies do. They pool the risk so that those who are higher risk, actually those who are lower risk, can pay for those who are higher risk.
risk,
That's
yeah.
what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it balances out.
Yeah, it's quite interesting when you mention it that way. I think in terms of some of the myths, I know when you talked about it, you said that it's one of what's the word? You said it's one of the norms,
Yeah.
right? In terms of course, remember when you talk about, it seems like when we thought of actual sciences, we always thought, yeah, you get like big monies,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not saying that tell me your bracket of what you get paid.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
it to yourself, right? But you said that it's also shocking in terms of the way that you start is
Yeah.
not as big as we thought it was in terms of the startup when you get money.
Yeah.
Was it impressive? You're like, okay, this is a good way to start your job.
I don't know. Because thing is like we that's something we really talk about.
Sure.
Like no one ever comes out in the open and say, guys, I'm making this much.
Sure,
So
sure.
I wouldn't know whether I'm making a
A
lot,
lot, yeah.
or I'm getting ripped
But
off.
are you happy? Because you see, for example, let me give you an example, right? Okay,
Yeah.
I don't mind telling you how much I started with,
Yeah.
or telling everyone who's listening, right?
Yeah.
So when I started my job, I think probation, we had like 8,000,
Yeah.
and I was getting 8,000, and I think it was okay for me because
Yeah.
the only thing that I had was just myself and the place to stay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then the place that I looked for, it was
Yeah.
like cheap. So, and I was even walking, so it
To the-
worked. And I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I had to wait for a year
Yeah.
before getting a job.
Yeah.
So that amount of money that I got, then I mean, obviously, you started growing up as time
Yeah.
goes on. Then, to be honest with you, the money that I got is not what other people in other careers are starting with.
Starting with,
You
yeah.
understand what I mean? So, in terms of is the prospects when you start, is it something which you can say, okay, this is a very good start, which sets you up nicely when
Yeah.
you're doing actuary?
Yeah, definitely. I think it does set you up nicely. But I think maybe another issue that we also need to address is the fact that like me as a person, right, Vuyisile, like I wouldn't be paid the same as another person, right? Because I think what companies do as well, like they check
profile- the
they check
profile
they
you.
profile you, yeah, they
Sure.
check Mr. Pandeka is married, Mr. Dhlula is not married. Mr. Pandeka is more inclined to accept this offer than Mr. Dhlula. Mr. Dhlula is single, just came out of varsity, doesn't know anything. Mr. Pandeka is married, he has responsibility, he has a family. So basically, they scope you out, they weigh you out, bruh. But I think companies, if they can get away with paying you little money, they will definitely do it,
True.
So
Yeah.
basically, you can feel like, oh, this is the most generous. But then you look at your peer, literally someone with the same qualification as you, and by the mere fact that they are white and you're black, they get paid twice the amount that you get paid.
So, is it something which has happened and you've experienced it, or It's something which
No, of course you wouldn't experience it because
because
no one will tell
no one
you.
tell you. Yeah, you're right.
So I
Yeah,
feel like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
like I
true.
like your questions because you want me to come out with it, but of course I can't come out with it because no
Yeah,
one is coming out with it.
true.
But I'm for that. I'm for having honest opinions around salaries because I feel like people are getting ripped off by the day. You can literally be in the same working with
Company, yeah,
someone,
true.
literally same position, same everything, but then they're getting, because like someone once told me that they look at, where do you stay? Do you, what how do you get to work? Am I using a taxi to get to work? Because you can't pay someone who's using a taxi to get to work the same amount as someone
Who's driving? Yeah.
who literally started working and they bought a Polo. So that car is paying a car installment. This one is paying taxi fare. So they literally check those things. And but I think for me, yeah, I was happy with the amount that I was earning. And the nice thing about the actuarial space is that you can make more by the mere effect of studying more. So the higher you go up, by going up actually, the more exams that you have, and the closer you are to qualifying. With every exam pass, you get an increase.
Yeah, that's good. I think I like that about any job. That if you are in a job or work where there is that chance of actually when you study, after
Yes.
you study, when you get that qualification, then it is like an
Yeah.
automatic
Increase. Yeah.
increase. I like that
Yeah.
because other people, whether have a master's or whatever in that
Yeah.
field, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's tough,
So
yeah.
basically, some people wait for the increases, like the normal increases, the salary
Yeah,
increases.
which is like the yearly one, yeah.
Yeah, but some people literally say, "Hey, let me go write this exam. I'm gonna get a lot of money." And so, like literally last year, with the past few years with COVID, the increases and the bonuses were quite bad
Oh, yeah,
because life
sure.
insurance companies were making losses. And I had my previous manager saying that, "Hey, I'm thinking of going to write an exam now because
Sure,
it's
sure.
bad, like
Yeah,
so." Those are the benefits. The higher you go up, the better it becomes. Like it rewards. It's a rewarding process because you have to work for your rewards. And
Then when you become an actual
actuary,
actuary, yes,
yeah.
right. The process, because it seems like you said one of your managers wanted to go right. Is it a difficult process, or like does it take long, or you can just do it in a 1 year?
It also depends on the person, the pace that they want to do it. I know people that I graduated with, they are done with their exams, so it depends on the
Everything.
person.
So
Yeah.
now they're actual actuaries.
No, not yet. You have to do work-based learning, which takes about 3 years as well. So they have to complete.
Okay.
So you can be exam qualified. You can literally rush through the exams, finish them quick. Some people actually leave varsity because I told you at Vets you can get about 12 of them.
12
So
of them, yeah.
if you get 12 of them at
And there's 12 out of
university,
like 19, right?
out of 15, yeah.
15.
So you can literally graduate with 12 and then you only have 3 left. Some people graduate with maybe less and then you have to write a bit more afterwards. Some people literally, they start off with nothing. Like, as I told you, like I know someone who studied at UFS, and UFS was not accredited back then. So basically they didn't get any exemptions. So basically they registered and then you start from scratch and they literally wrote all the way up until qualifying. So basically, I think it depends on you as a person and where you are in life. Some people, what your priorities are. Are you prioritizing studying? Are you prioritizing starting a family? Are you prioritizing chowing your money? If I can put it like that. Because you don't want to live like a student and now you're working, you're getting paid. You still want to enjoy,
True, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then in your work, right? I remember we talked about pricing and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you could just delve more into your work in terms of what you have learned in terms of pricing. I think we might have touched a little bit on it.
Yeah.
How does the pricing work?
So yeah, the typical day of an actuarial analyst, it's literally I start at 9. It's a 9 to 5, like most roles. So it's a 9 to 5. It's a lot of Excel calculations on Excel. It's a lot of, if you're lucky, you get to code. Currently doing some coding on SQL, which is a programming language. You get to code on VBA as well. You can code on RStudio. So there's some coding and a lot of work on Excel. So
And the coding that you just mentioned now, is it softwares or it's just a language?
yeah, those are languages. Those are
Okay.
different languages.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, each language has an interface like the software that they or
They
the
use,
program
yeah,
that they
true,
use
true.
to code. But yeah, basically in pricing, right? I was working in the group risk pricing. So most of our clients were corporate companies. So basically, they come and they insure the group. So basically, the big
It's like,
companies, MTN, Toyota, the company, the whole company comes and says, these are our employees. A lot of companies actually have benefits for employees like
yes.
life cover and all of that. These are a group of employees, so it's a group already. And you remember the concept of risk pooling that I was telling you about.
High risk pays for
The
low
lower
risk,
risk,
yeah.
yeah. So
Oh,
basically,
low risk, the other way around, yeah.
exactly. So we would take that group and say, and give them a rate, but then that rate is applicable. It's a uniform rate applicable to the whole group.
I see.
So that they all pay the same rate. And basically, how we would get to the rate would use different risk factors, because as much as we are all a group, we are all different.
Different, yeah,
Like
true.
so the risk factors that we check
So you
for.
look at families.
Okay, actually
So,
it's five. It's five.
okay. Oh, okay, yeah, you can just
No,
explain it, yeah.
the one for family was for salaries. You remember that
Okay,
was.
sure, sure, sure. I thought maybe it's because, like, since someone has a family, they won't do as many risks, in a sense,
Nah.
yeah.
So the risk factors that we actually check an individual and we price them based on is their gender.
Number one, okay.
So if you're a male,
Yeah,
you
we
know,
know.
gents.
You like pressing on the accelerator
You
there.
see, gents are high risk.
Yeah.
Like they are just, yeah, no, gents are high risk. The other one is we check your, it's gender. We check your age. So that one, I think it makes more sense as well. The
Sure.
older you are, the more risky you are. And we check your salary. Funny enough, so salary matters. The high earners, they have more access to healthcare.
Oh, I
They are
see, yeah.
more,
They take care of themselves.
and they can afford security. They living in
Oh, I
safer
see. Sure,
areas,
sure, sure.
and basically, yeah, they are less risk than the low earners. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
now I
then,
understand why. It's very much important for guys to get more money.
yeah,
When you get more money, you become a low low risk. It's actually fun to actually listen to this
yeah.
profiling, yeah, and then
So yeah, actually, it is profiling. That's
yeah,
what we use to calculate
sure,
how much we charge you for a life product. And we also check your occupation.
okay.
I mean, if you're working in the mine, then sheesh, my brother, you're a high risk.
High risk. Oh,
We're
yeah, I
gonna
see.
charge you
Yeah.
more
Oh,
because
yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
if you're a driver,
Anything can happen. Yeah.
you're always on the road.
The road,
You're
yeah.
high risk of, other than a person who's at the office, who's behind a desk. That's relatively low risk. And then what's the fifth one?
Last one. Yeah.
What's the last one?
Should be health.
Health.
Like check if the person, like you guys are always, because they usually take your blood and check
Yeah.
it in the thing. Do they check? Do they
Yeah, no. I think with group risk now we don't.
use that?
But if there's a certain threshold, right? If your cover exceeds a certain amount, which is called the free cover limit, you have to go for examinations. They have to underwrite you to check whether, like now we're
Certain things,
checking
that's like
smoking status and literally health assessments, and then
Sure,
to
sure.
see, if this, because your cover is quite high. Yeah. So, but I'm trying to think what the last one is. Okay, the environment, the environment
yeah,
as well,
the
like
okay.
where you are based. Yeah. So those are some of the things that we check. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, in terms of what is it that you enjoy the most when in actuary?
Um, I think I enjoy the fact that I get to learn every day, bruh. Like, and it is challenging. It does push you. You always kept busy. You always encouraged to improve yourself. There's a lot of um, growth aspects here. Like, there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of. I feel like I'm working towards something. It's sort of there's a sense of purpose and the sense of I'm know what I'm working towards, and like I think for me as a person that is a rewarding environment whereby like you are encouraged to
To keep on working
learn,
on yourself,
like
yeah.
read, study, like cause those things, like they as a person, it keeps you motivated. It keeps you, it gives you a meaningful life. You know your purpose, like like you
You
working towards
solve
something.
problems, yeah, true.
Exactly, yeah. You you making you actually we do make changes in people's lives, because at the end of the day, life insurance, it's not just for you, Mr. Pandeka. It's you leaving a legacy for your kids. Like saying that I might not be here, but then I'm leaving something for you.
For you
And
guys, yeah.
like it's we work in an environment whereby it's changing people's lives, it's securing people's lives, it's making a difference. Like we are helping people basically to make better financial choices and leave legacies and leave something for their kids. Because we saw a lot of people, we lost a lot of people with COVID, and like basically life insurance companies were paying a lot of claims, but a lot of people were helped in that process. So um, we might have been making losses, but then in the long run, like we sort of, maybe some of the money we even made it back then when it wasn't so bad. But I'm sure there's people who are really grateful for the fact that like at least they had something, they had a bit of financial assistance. Bearing someone is not easy, it's not cheap in South Africa. Like, so basically the being in that, well, I'm speaking to life insurance
Yeah,
actually,
true.
because that's the space that I'm in. I'm speaking mostly to life insurance. So basically you feel as though like you can see the change that you're making. Yeah, so I
Okay.
think it's rewarding for me. Yeah.
Okay. I think maybe just to wrap it up,
Yeah.
is there anything that you want to tell, you want to say, or that tell the youngins who
Yeah.
are want to become actuarists? So, like, okay, be aware of 1, 2, 3. Is there anything that you can just share on that?
All I can tell them is that like they can definitely do it, man. They can definitely. The only thing is that you just need to work hard and don't give up. If you really want it, don't give up, because it's a journey, man. And basically, you come to appreciate it the more. If you want to go on a journey, it's not forex trading. It's not. It's
Sure.
investing. It's investing. It's literally sowing and then literally way on like reaping. But then it's a journey, and you just need to be patient. Be patient with yourself, understand yourself, listen to yourself. If you know, okay, no, this is not working, it's also fine, because you can go on to be great elsewhere. Rather, don't look for, don't do it because someone so and so said it, or of what you think it's gonna give you, or something, like hoping to benefit something. Like, just go on this journey and enjoy it as you going on it, and be patient with yourself. Talk to people, because everyone has a story. If you speak to people in the space, they'll tell you, some of them will tell you, oh, I've written an exam 6 times, but they're still studying. You
So
speak to
pushing,
them
yeah,
and they're like,
true.
yo, I've written this exam 6 times, me, bruh. But he's still studying. And you're like, yo, you know. But
I
the
mean, it's also important for them to know that it's not just a cruise
yeah,
through
yes, yes, yes,
Actuary. Yeah.
yes. You must keep pushing, keep,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. I think I like that I like that you're saying that you keep pushing. When you were saying that, I kind of like had another question.
Yeah,
And I'm like, okay, why am I doing this to myself? Since there is actually, it seems like because my assumption was okay, actuary is only in like in few varsities.
yeah.
Since it's in different varsities, the the depth and the demand. Do you have an idea of is it the same throughout the board or is like different when you're in different varsities?
Yeah, so basically the demand is the same. It's sort of I think they've found a way to sort of make it level,
Standardized,
yeah,
yeah.
standardized, because at the end of the day, when we're all not in varsity now, we are working. We all, you might be working with someone from Potchefstroom University, you might be working with someone from UFS, you might be working with someone from Stellenbosch.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, when we go and write the board exam through the Actuarial Society of South Africa, we write the same exam.
exam, okay.
So basically, now it doesn't matter whether this one came from UCT, this one came from Poch, this one came from University of Limpopo.
Doesn't matter.
If we're there
Standard is a
now,
standard.
if it's standard, it's standard. You know,
Yeah.
like maths is maths, bruh.
True.
There's no maths from UCT
Yeah,
and maths from
that's
vets.
true.
It's
That's
maths.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. No, I think I like that. I also got to learn a lot as well.
Yeah.
Um, the beauty of starting something is that it actually evolves as time goes on.
Yeah.
When I started the podcast, I had many ideas of what I want, how I want it to be, how to look like. But as time goes on, you're actually starting to see that okay, I'm actually sitting down with people who are the microorganism of an economy.
Yeah.
Because we're the ones who are building this economy at the end of the day.
True.
The reason why we're going to work each and every day in the morning, we are pushing this organism, which is the South African economy.
Yeah.
And it's a privilege to actually talk to different people who are contributing in their own ways to and I think even with you, I also learned that okay, it seems like you can also crunch the numbers now.
Yeah.
And tell me, okay, this is how your podcast is gonna do, and I really appreciate it. And I mean, we do something which is from total different spheres,
Yeah.
but we're working towards one goal on building our country.
True.
So yeah, that was like a light bulb for me that happened. I was like, okay, it seems like it's something is actually kind of like boiling up, which is meaningful. Because sometimes when you're doing it, you're like, okay, you're doing it because you love it, but at least there's more meaning that's also coming up to it.
And we appreciate people like you, man. That's why I told you I'm a big fan of podcasts because you guys are documenting this, and literally one day in the future, you know, someone is going to listen to this and be like, wow, so this is where it started. This is, you know, like you are here to experience it, and you're in awe as well to say, wow, you know, like I'm in the moment, like I'm witnessing how we are all just, you know, we are like a system or like an engine. You are literally experiencing it, and you're like, wow, this is working. So we appreciate people like you who are documenting it, and I think it's a very great thing that you guys are doing. And yeah, big ups, gents. And yeah, this is really great, man. Like we need more podcasters and people who are literally gonna, you know, document all this information, because literally it helps someone else, you know. It literally is always gonna help someone in the future as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dhlula.
It's a pleasure, Mr.
It was really nice having a chat with you. And for those who are listening, you guys have a wonderful night, have a wonderful day, depending on what time you're listening to this. We'll catch